On the most recent episode of Brilliant Idiots, both Charlamagne and Andrew downplay the Epstein files' recent releases. If it isn't partisan politics, what's the point? Am I right, boys? Watch as they bend over backwards to embarrassingly take the wrong stances on everything Epstein.
No, but they're throwing so much chum in the water. Some stuff is so insane, you're like, there's no way this is real. Some stuff is about people that you might really like, musicians you're a big fan of. And then you go, well, this is unsubstantiated, it's unverified, this is a call in from a crazy person, whatever. But what it starts, the conversation that starts is, some of these things didn't happen, and they didn't happen because they're people I like. And now all of a sudden, those people who things allegedly did happen to, they can start going, whoa, 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 you picking or choosing. Either everybody that's mentioned is guilty, as we treated before when we only thought it was fucking Trump, Bill Clinton, and whoever else. But now that we know it's literally every wealthy prince, every world leader, every scientist, every intellectual, every guy that owns a football team, when we know it's all of these billionaires around the world, regardless of country, right? When you start hearing things, they have the plausible deniability to go, well, if you don't believe it about that, why would you believe it about me?
I hate that Andrew is pretending that most people are picking and choosing what they want to believe from the Epstein files. I think in reality, it's only people who are trying to cover up for these files who are doing that, because this is not a party issue and both the right and the left should be 100% against pedophilia. Anyone cherry-picking the information they want to believe out of the Epstein files is operating in bad faith and should be seen as a vile person. Anyone with half a brain who has a working level of empathy just wants justice for these girls and women regardless of who has to get taken down in the process. Republican, Democrat, famous musicians, all-time favorite authors, scientists, everyone.
I don't think you're wrong. I just think that there's a difference, right? Because, you know, when you see something, a crisis intake report, and then I got this down because I want to read it. Variety is the only person I saw do an actual
forensic,
like a breakdown to what the difference is between the Epstein files and these crisis intake reports.
Yeah.
Crisis intake report. A public hotline submission. By the way, that shit is, I don't know why we don't realize how dangerous this shit is. I didn't like it when Tony Busby did it. I don't like it when even the FBI does it, right?
Yep.
But a public hotline submission. Anybody can call it right now and say anything. They're not backed by any court findings, no indictments, no confirmed evidence within the actual Epstein case files. These people aren't listed in Epstein's verified records, travel logs, or contact list. It's just an unverified allegation that somebody left on an FBI hotline number.
Very funny that the only time Charlamagne has ever been prepared or looked anything up on his phone, it's to directly discredit the Epstein files. Charla claimed the crisis intake line reports shouldn't be trusted because they came from an anonymous public hotline. He's gaslighting us into thinking since it's anonymous, it's not trustworthy when all statistical evidence suggests the exact opposite is true. Only 2% of sexual assault accusations are false or malicious. Then cross-reference that with the percentage of anonymous tips that are false. For example, studies on whistleblowing, including research from North America, the UK, and Australia, suggest that false reports, malicious or mistaken, generally account for only 2% to 8% of total anonymous complaints. Yes, anyone can call an anonymous line, but studies show that does not lead to a significant increase in the number of abusive or false reports. Many legitimate reporters fear retaliation, as do victims of crime who are often afraid to come forward when it's not anonymous. So, Charla needs to shut the F up with his major cope. It is not a real concern that because reports can be false to the intervention line, that they are. And in fact, the vast majority of the claims are statistically likely to be true based on studies of anonymous reporting. Not to be outdone, Andrew threw out this absolute gem of stupidity.
I guess what I'm trying to understand is it possible, since Epstein wasn't famous, that there were people who met him afterwards that were unaware of that prior conviction?
Are we still on this dumb shit? And why does Schultz give these pedophiles an out? Yes, they all knew. Every single one of them. And yes, it's obvious. So Andrew stopped planting doubt. He should be focused on why they haven't been prosecuted and not on protecting them. But Andrew decides, nope, I'm going to take the pedophile side. I guess he feels they need defending most. Forget about the actual victims that he doesn't mention once.
Flood us. Right. They just want to flood us with so much information, If you go on social media right now, no matter what the account is that you follow, they're posting about something, and clearly there's a person person that they do not like, that they're on the opposite side of the aisle from, that they are talking about being incriminated by this drop. And that's the goal. Just make it messy, have us bickering. They continue to do whatever the fuck they want to do, which is probably a war with Iran. And I think this actually proves it, is like, I think for years, or at least months, I think, well, no, you could also say years, we were like, okay, so like the Biden DOJ had all these files and like we never got access to any of this stuff. Now that it comes out, you go, oh, I see why. Because it incriminates
Everybody. Mutually assured destruction.
So just in the way that like Trump and his cronies wanted to protect everybody, so did Biden and his cronies, because they're all each other's cronies. Like it or not, we're the only ones that bicker. Like normal people are the only ones that bicker about Republican, Democrat. All these fucking elites, they just pretend to be one or the other. They fund both sides and they both make money on the top of it.
Yeah, they get together.
Andrew and Charla literally make my blood boil. Whether on purpose or not, they're minimizing the claims and information in the files. What is wrong with them? It's like they're tripping over each other to get to Trump's dong. Calm down, boys. They're basically saying everyone against the pedophiles are haters or bots out to get these poor, vulnerable men. Like, who is actually saying this stuff? No one with eyes. And why are they pretending there's a big debate happening online down party lines that isn't? And honestly, who is better at weaving than Andrew? Look at him find an excuse to blame Biden for what's happening today. Just so he could say, hey, remember when Biden had the files and did nothing? Remember that? Like, why the bitch is that relevant? Their whole Epstein conversation was so defeating to watch that I tapped out from watching the episode. I wish we could go back to the beginning when Brilliant Idiots was still real and felt honest. Now they've become full-time liars who like covering for and making excuses for monsters. Both of them can't stop being on the wrong side of this Epstein files with every conversation they have. You can just watch them steer every topic to an insult for Democrats. And for every Elon that is brought up, they say they were a victim who merely wanted to party. If they keep defending evil, or at the very least excusing it, their numbers are going to start to take a dive. I think it's unavoidable if they continue to ignore the truth. I hate that they've both implied the targeting is unfair for the pedophiles and political in nature. It's not political to anyone that matters, and those who continue to insist that the Epstein files are a partisan game are only proving they've got something to hide, and now we know not to trust them. So thank you. Get it together, boys. Let me know in the comments if you think Andrew and Charlamagne were being evasive when it came to the Epstein files.